यो यो एक दुई स्पिकरको भएर लेफ्ट राइट ल चेक ल
Good morning, everyone. We are about to begin the formal proceedings shortly. May I request everyone to kindly take their seats. A very warm good morning to you all. I'm extremely delighted to introduce myself to you. I am Diksha Barasaini, your Master of Ceremony for today's event, the 23rd Annual Day celebration of Nepal Development Research Institute NDRI. On behalf of the entire NDRI family, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to all the distinguished guests and participants for joining us today at this majestic venue, the Plaza Lalitpur. Today's gathering is not only a celebration of NDRI's 23rd year of contribution to research, policy dialogue, and development practice in Nepal, but also a gesture to show our lifetime contribution to nation-state buildings. We have a very enriching program ahead of us, consisting of an inaugural session, keynote presentation, panel discussions, networking exchanges with distinguished national and international experts. So without further delay, I take your permission to proceed towards the opening session. I would like to make a few announcements before our formal session. In case of emergency, exits are located at your right-hand side. In case of a logistic issue, kindly consult the NDRI team or direct it to the reception desk outside of this hall. Restrooms are located at the outside of the hall on your left from the lobby. And I kindly request all participants to switch their mobile phones to silent mode. In case of any emergency, you may step outside the hall to attend it. To begin the formal session, I would like to respectfully invite Dr. Joy Kumar Gurung, President of NDRI and the chair of today's opening session, to kindly take the seat on the dais.
Recording in progress.
It is my great honor and privilege to invite our distinguished chief guest, Honorable Dr. Gunakar Bhatta, Vice Chairman, National Planning Commission, Government of Nepal, to kindly take the seat on the dais. I would now like to respectfully invite Mr. Surendra Prasad Pandey, former Finance Minister, Government of Nepal, and our special guest for today's event to kindly take the seat on the dais. May I now respectfully invite Dr. Bindu Nath Lohani, Vice Chairman of the Board and Distinguished Adjunct Faculty of AIT Thailand, and also the former Ranking Vice President and our special guest for today's event to kindly take the seat on the dais. May I now have the honor to respectfully invite Honorable Professor Dr. K.K. Agrawal, President of South Asian University, New Delhi, India, and the speaker of today's annual day lecture. May I now respectfully invite Dr. Sikha Thapa Mogar, Executive Director of NDRI, to kindly take the seat on the dais. Thank you, respected dignitaries on the dais. I am extremely delighted to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, the Ambassador of Myanmar to Nepal, Mr. Yu Thant Sin. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Malaysia to Nepal, Mr. Mohammad Firoz bin Azman. Her Excellency, the Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Nepal, Ms. Ruwanti Delpitia. I am also extremely delighted to acknowledge the presence of Mr. Greg Clem, Deputy Head of Mission at the Embassy of Australia to Nepal. First Secretary, Mr. E. Kin at the Embassy of Myanmar. We are also honored to acknowledge I would also like to acknowledge the presence of former ministries of the Government of Nepal, senior officials of the Government of Nepal, university leaders, former university leaders, and media personals on this event today. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request everyone present in the hall to rise and respect the national anthem of Nepal. Thank you, everyone, and please be seated. I would now like to invite Dr. Sikha Thapa Mogar, Executive Director of NDRI, for the welcome remarks. The floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Dikshaji. Chair of the session and President of Nepal Development Research Institute, Dr. Jay Kumar Gurung. Chief guest, Honorable Dr. Gunakar Bhatta, Vice Chairman, National Planning Commission, Government of Nepal. Special guest, Mr. Surendra Prasad Pandey, former Minister, Ministry of Finance, Government of Nepal. Dr. Vindu Lohani, Vice Chairman of Board and Distinguished Adjunct Faculty of AIT Thailand and former ranking Vice President, ADB. Keynote speaker, Professor Dr. K.K. Agarwal, President, South Asian University, New Delhi. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Myanmar to Nepal, Mr. U Thant Sin. Her Excellency, Ambassador of Sri Lanka to Nepal, Ms. Ruwanti Delpitia. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Malaysia to Nepal, Mr. Mot Firdaus bin Azman. Deputy Head of Mission at the Embassy of Australia to Nepal, Mr. Greg Clem. Mr. Varuna Vilpatha, Director of Education Secretary and Culture, SARC Secretariat. His Excellency, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Nepal, Mr. Abrar Hussain Hasmi. Distinguished panelist, moderator, session chair, distinguished representative of the Nepal Commission, esteemed university leaders, respected leaders from development banks, policymakers, and our valued scholars dedicated to advancing education reform, NDRI colleagues, and media person. Good morning. Namaste and a very warm welcome to the 23rd NDRI Annual Day. Today, we gather under a theme that speaks directly to the most pressing challenge of time, changing landscape of education philosophy and learning in the digital age. This is not merely a title for our program. It is a call to reflection and action. The digital age, driven by artificial intelligence, big data, and connectivity in transforming how we live, work, and learn. With over 65% of today's children expected to work in jobs that do not yet exist, education faces unprecedented change. Traditional models of teaching and learning are being redefined as knowledge becomes widely accessible and learning increasingly lifelong. At the same time, AI presents important challenges. Limited and context-poor data can reinforce biases, particularly for data scarce and developing countries, risking unequal outcomes. To help us navigate this complex terrain, we are honored to have Professor Dr. K.K. Agarwal, President of South Asian University, New Delhi, deliver our keynote lecture on the event theme itself. Professor Agarwal has long emphasized the importance of aligning education in technological transformation. Building upon the keynote, we will also engage in two focused panel discussions that apply this theme to Nepal's specific context. These two panel sessions will collectively explore how higher education reform and human capital development can respond to the demands of the digital and AI-driven age. Nepal stands at a unique moment. We have a young population with over 40% under the age of 25 and expanding digital connectivity across the country. Internet access and mobile users have grown rapidly, opening new opportunities for digital learning and innovation. However, our education system remains largely rooted in traditional model, examination-driven, memory-focused, and often disconnected from market needs. This gap is critical. If we fail to adapt, our demographic dividend may become a liability. If we succeed, Nepal can position itself as a dynamic, knowledge-driven economy and a regional example of human capital transformation. NDRI, over the 23 years, has worked at the intersection of research, policy, and development, generating evidence to inform national decision-making. Today, in an era of digital transformation and artificial intelligence, we move further from evidence to dialogue and from dialogue to action. NDRI research focuses on the pillar of human capital, health, education, skills, and resilience, increasingly stepped by digitalization and data-driven system. Our recent publication, Migration Atlas, produced under the Livelihood and Food Security program, highlights Nepal's growing resilience on remittance, about 25% of GDP, high outmigration of both men and women, and the resulting impact of food security. The finding shows that remittance are largely used for consumption, while many migrants remain tapped in low-skilled, underpaid work, underscoring the need for digital and future-ready skill. Under the Water and Climate Program, the Ecogenesis and Global Ecosystem-Based Adaptation Fund projects promote nature-based climate resilience solution, increasingly supported by digital tool and climate data to improve livelihood of marginalized communities. Our economic development research, including promoting innovation and inclusion in growth potential enterprises, provides evidence on evolving skill demand in a technology and AI-driven economy. Moving forward, I extend my sincere gratitude to our honorable chief guest, Dr. Gunakar Bhatta, and to Mr. Surendra Prasad Pandey for their steadfast commitment to research-informed policy making. I thank Dr. Bindu Lohani, Vice Chairman of Board and Distinguished Adjunct Faculty of AIT, for his visionary leadership. I warmly welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. K.K. Agrawal, whose insights will illuminate our path forward. And I would also like to thank our distinguished panelists from Nepal, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Pakistan, Japan, Asian Development Bank, and the World Bank. Finally, I would like to thank our entire NDRI family and every participant here today. The changing landscape of education is not an invitation to reimagine what learning can be, to build systems that are flexible, inclusive, and forward-looking, to prepare our children not for the world we grew up in, but for the world they were inherit. Let us accept the invitation today and in all our work ahead. Once again, welcome to the 23rd Annual Day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sikha Thapa Magar, for your gracious welcome and insightful remarks. We are also delighted to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, the Ambassador of Pakistan to Nepal, Mr. Arbar Hussain Hasmi. We are also honored to acknowledge Mr. Varuna Wilpetha, Director of Education, Security and Culture at the SARC Secretariat, Kathmandu. To mark the formal inauguration of this special occasion, I would now like to respectfully invite our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Gunakar Bhatta, to inaugurate the program through the lighting of panas. May I request our NDRI colleagues to kindly assist? Thank you, Honorable Chief Guest. I would now like to respectfully invite our special guest of the event, Dr. Bindu Nath Lohani, to deliver the opening remarks. Sir, the floor is yours.
Honorable Vice Chairman of the Honorable Member of the Parliament, former Minister, Mr. Pandey. I also see Ganesh Shah, former Minister. I think thank you for doing ambassadors, excellencies, many known colleagues in the audience, many academicians. I see Professor Shriram, very distinguished academician. I see from the World Bank, Ms. Sachiko, I was sitting there, and many other bilaterals. I think this, also my former colleagues, Mr. Pandey, Samjana from the former ADB. Of course, today, Dr. Agrawal, you are the key person today, the NDRI staff, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, good morning. It's a pleasure for me to join this 23rd annual day of NDRI. Over the past 5 decades, that's 50 years, I have personally witnessed, so you can imagine that I'm an old man. If I've seen 50 years, it must be an old man. The remarkable transformation of Asia, including major changes in education, technology, and human development, among many other things. Today, I think Nepal must also position itself for the next phase of transformation. Looks like it's beginning. Today, in the next few minutes, I have time about 6-7 minutes for this. I will limit myself to a few reflections, mainly from the perspective of Nepal, not from Asia, which I know a little bit also, and Nepal's higher education challenge and opportunities, as I see it. We all recognize that education and learning are undergoing profound change in the digital age. Many of the broader questions and emerging challenges arising from this transformation will, I'm sure, be explored much more deeply in the keynote lecture by Dr. Agrawal. My remarks today will briefly focus on 4 themes. First, why higher education reform in Nepal has now become urgent. It was urgent before, it has even become urgent now. Second, why human capital, research and innovation will matter even more in the future. Third, how universities in Nepal must evolve to remain relevant in a rapidly changing world. And finally, what kind of human resources graduates Nepal now needs. Let me begin with the first theme. In my view, higher education in Nepal is an important turning point. Hence, it is not a routine moment. To me, it's a serious moment for reflection. For many years, the main focus was expansion. Many campuses, more campuses, more students, more degrees, more programs. But today, the real question is different. How do we make higher education more relevant, practical, and future-ready? Because many graduates today leave university with degrees, paper degrees, but not always with enough skills, confidence, or practical exposure for the modern workplace. And employees often tell us, these are the employees who recruit them tell us, the same thing. The gap between education and employment is growing. Let me now move to my second theme. The future strength of the countries will increasingly depend on people. We know AI, but it'll always depend on people, on human capital, on knowledge, on innovation. And honestly, Nepal needs to invest much more seriously in all these areas. The financial resources going into higher education are, I don't want to say this, but appears to me still limited. Funding for research and innovation remains very small, and when I compare with the other countries in the region, frankly, inadequate. Research and innovation is central to a modern knowledge economy. We've done a study on this one at the ADB many years ago, and that report is very, very valuable. Countries that learn faster, adapt faster, and innovate faster will move ahead. At the same time, the world is entering a period of major transformation. Artificial intelligence, you'll hear more later from Dr. Agrawal. Digital technologies, climate change, sustainability pressure, demographic shifts, geopolitical uncertainty are all shaping economies and society globally. In this environment, knowledge itself is becoming a key strategic resource. Knowledge is a key strategic resource. For countries like Nepal, this transition creates both the pressure, a lot of pressure, and the opportunity. I just read the other day that the government is trying to now establish a Ministry of Science, Technology, Innovation. I personally think it's a good step in the right direction. I hope it gets strengthened more. And let me come to my third theme. Universities themselves need to evolve. In Nepal, we must gradually move away from overly rigid examination-driven system to a more flexible, skill-oriented, and student-centered approaches. All of these we are trying at the University of Nepal. I see Dr. Saraji there. It's my time as a new university trying to see how we will do all of these differently. We're trying to think differently from the beginning through our what we call the T model. The vertical part of the T represents depth, academic knowledge, research capability, technical competence, and the horizontal part includes communication, digital skill, critical thinking, leadership, entrepreneurship, teamwork, and ethics. How do you create that kind of a team model? University of Nepal is going to try it. Wish us luck. Because the future belongs to graduates who are both knowledgeable and capable. A degree without skill in this century is weak. But skills without values are also risky. We need both. Technology and AI will accelerate the changes even further. Personally, I see AI not only as a challenge, but also as a major opportunity for countries like ours. AI is a new industry and a powerful tool, something we have never seen in the history. University must adapt faster. Curriculum must change. Teachers must continue learning. University must work more closely with industry and government. And governance system within universities also need to become more flexible, responsive, and frankly, autonomous. Because without adequate academic and institutional autonomy, universities cannot innovate fast enough for a rapidly changing world. Many of the larger questions about education itself is changing in the digital days, and I will not cover that. We'd like to hear our keynote speaker. And finally, let me end with my fourth theme. What kind of human resource and graduates does Nepal now need? We can't move forward. The universities produce only job seekers. There aren't that many jobs anymore. We must also produce job creators, innovators, researchers, entrepreneurs, problem solvers, ethical leaders, and globally competent human resources. The University of Nepal is going to try that. Taraji, let's hope, make sure it happens. Because ultimately, education is not only about degrees, it's about people. What kind of mindset are we building? What values are students carrying? Can they solve problems? Can they build institutions? Can they contribute to society? These are questions that matter. And I believe Nepal still has an opportunity not only to reform higher education, but some areas even to leapfrog. If we, of course, we can only leapfrog if we are willing to think boldly and act early enough. Now let me conclude by saying this one theme. In the years ahead, the future of Nepal, I think, will be shaped not only by economic progress. Every country wants economic progress. We need that. Governance system. Every country wants to have an excellent governance system. But also, it needs by the ideas, innovation, integrity, and leadership emerging out of our universities. Hence, I strongly believe paying greater attention to universities and its reform as a priority are essential. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your inspiring remarks. I would now like to respectfully invite our special guest of the event, Mr. Surinder Prasad Pandey, to deliver the opening remarks. Sir, the floor is yours.
Dhanyavad, Mr. Chair of this session, Jay Kumar Gurungji. There are other person. There is another person, Gurung also, Rai also. So I sometimes forget. Chief guest of this session, welcome inaugural session, Dr. Gunakar Bhatta, Vice Chair of National Planning Commission. Dr. Bindu Lohani, still you are Vice Chair in AIT? No. Yeah? And Vice Chair of the ADB. Professor K.K. Agrawal, he is the chairperson of South Asian University in Delhi, and today's main speaker of this meeting, and Sikha Thapa, Executive Director of this organizer committee, Your Excellencies, academicians, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Ganesh Shah, he is also the former Minister to Science and Technology of Nepal. I'm here, I'm very delighted to be here because I couldn't say no for this program because my friend Jay Kumar Gurung invited me to chair a session also later and to have a welcome in the inaugural speech also few times. I'll go much in detail in the later session. I'm here for few words. Can I go with Nepali? But I think there are a couple of people, international guests, they should have some problem, but I will go with Nepali. मैले धेरै भन्नु छैन, म 3-4 वटा कुरा मात्रै गर्ने विचार छ। अघि यो कार्यक्रमको बारेमा बताउँदै शिलाजीले धेरै कुरा गर्नुभएको छ। डाक्टर बिन्दु लोहनीले पनि धेरै कुरा गर्नुभएको छ। म चाहिँ मेरो आफ्नो जीवनमा मैले तीनटा हिसाबले मैले आफूलाई हेरिरहेको छु। फर्स्ट, when I became conscious, I joined the politics. I was working in a bank, I left, and I joined the politics before 1990s, and I became underground. I became underground for more than 1 decade. Then after 90s movement, I became overground because my party started to work as a formal legal party. Then in the second phase, I became the member of parliament for 19 years, and I became minister also. Now I am doing PhD. I joined the university, Nepal National University, Tribhuvan University. Why I joined? I think I should know the education level of the country and my university, how it is working. And my topics, PhD topics, is how the artificial intelligence will create the income divide in Nepal. That is my topics. I am doing research on these topics. When I became finance minister, I tried to see the country very focusedly, how we can develop our country. What is the resource? Every small country also, they have certain specific power. You can see, you can look right now in the Iran conflict, Iran-US war. The choke point, Strait of Hormuz, is the power of a small country which can, have the strength of any country. What is our strength of Nepal? I can see there are a couple of resources. One is our geographical location. That is, we have water and energy resource. We can use and we can develop our country through these resources, using these resources. Second, we have the huge possibility of tourism. Previously, why I am talking that? In the two sides of our borders, there are two giants. One is India, the largest population in the world, 1.45 billion population. In the north, 1.4 billion. Altogether, 2.85 billion. Previously, both the countries were poor. We were also poor. Now, they are rising up, going up. The rich people of the Europe or US, even more, if you go to the India and China, you can see the larger portion of people are richer than the richest country, the number of people of Europe and others. And if the certain portion of people, if they come to Nepal, our tourism business will go up. That is one of our biggest strength. Because none of the countries, either US or Australia or Europe, they will not provide any visa to all the Chinese or Indians. They have to develop their country by their own foot. If they will be rich, they will come here. That is our resource. Third thing is maybe the IT or data centers. These are the things we can develop and we can sell it in the global market. The human resource will be another resource for the country. So, these institutions which are going, long experience of 23 years of research, should focus on the how we can develop our country through our resources. In my experience, book is the static things. We should study the books, but we should study the life of the people. That is the economy, not the book. Life of the people is changing every day, every moment. The book is static. So don't only copy the books. You should learn in the society, in the people. Always this is changing. So we must be practical, seeking the problem, analyzing all these things and getting the solution from the experience. Not only from the books, not only from the international experience. Certainly we need the study of international, regional, everything, but we must focus from our daily experience, daily life. That is the need, which we cannot translate it in the practice in the past. The country is going a bigger transformation in these days. If we can do general realities of the people of the country, then we can develop our country. Yesterday only, one of the Nepali guy, he was in Australia and he called me from Australia. And he said, there is one trend going up in Australia. Don't invite migrants or foreigners. The issues of, nationalistic wave is coming up. Even in UK, very recently, there was a local election. To welcome the foreigners. Globally, this type of trend is coming up also. So in this global phenomena, how we can develop our country through our resources, through our own national feelings, it is necessary. So please work jointly, share hands, work together to get solution. And there is nothing, be changeable. यो सतीले सरापेको देश होइन, सतीले पनि वरदान दिएको देशको रूपमा यसलाई रूपान्तरित गरौँ. We should change it, our mindset. We can develop our country in our lifetime. That is the possibility. So, not for, I am not appealing to Nepalese people, even my neighbors, SAARC people, Malaysia and others. One time, Nepali were there as a fighter, right now as a worker. This definition also we can change in the coming days. We must change this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your insightful and encouraging remarks. It is now my distinct honor to invite our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Gunakar Bhatta, for the inaugural address. Sir, the floor is yours.
Good morning and namaste. Chair of the session, President of the NDRI, respected former Finance Minister, respected Dr. Lohani, keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Agrawal, Executive Director of the NDRI, ambassadors, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Let me congratulate the Nepal Development Research Institute for celebrating the 23rd annual day. It is an honor and privilege for me to be a part of this milestone. It is also a moment to extend sincere thanks to the Institute for continued contribution to the development discourse for more than 2 decades. The rigor and dedication of the Institute in different areas of policy, research, and dialogue covering social, economic, and environmental dimensions of the development is noteworthy. As one of the leading policy research institutions, I would also like to appreciate the Institute for collaborating with the government, development partners, the academia, civil society, and regional and multilateral institutions in advancing development discourse toward resilience, sustainability, and inclusivity. Many developing countries continue to face significant gaps in resource and evidence generation. Meaningful dialogue and public scrutiny of the government actions, along with constructive and continuous questioning of the policies and programs, must be grounded in credible evidence. Therefore, independent institutions such as the NDRI play a vital role in enriching public policy discourse toward strengthening transparency and ensuring accountability of the government and other development stakeholders. While talking on the current development, also the interest of the development stakeholders is to advance country towards the higher growth path, then definitely we have to utilize, optimize the resource and the skills of these potentialities. We all know Nepal is currently undergoing an important phase of socio-economic transformation. Our transition towards a resilient, inclusive, and middle-income economy requires stronger institutions, enhanced productivity, innovation, and quality human capital. I was going through the data, and in the last 3-4 decades, what is the total factor productivity growth of Nepal? Then very marginal productivity growth in Nepal. Largely the growth that is attributed to capital, human skill, but the productivity growth is very small, that is around 0.2%. So enhancing the productivity, enhancing the institutions, that is very important. The parliamentary election concluded in this March underscored the demand for transformation. It reflected deeper structural concerns and the issues of the governance, inclusion, economic opportunity. This is a reminder that development must respond to both structural challenges, also to evolving societal demands. The 16th Plan of Nepal has prioritized transformative, inclusive, and sustainable development with a strong emphasis on good governance, structural transformation of the economy, employment generation, productive use of human capital, climate resilience, and digital transformation. The plan recognizes the improving quality of the education, strengthening research and innovation ecosystems, modernizing our infrastructure, and promoting entrepreneurship. These are central to the long-term prosperity of the country. The 16th plan accords high importance to enhancing productivity, reducing poverty, expanding social protection, improving public service delivery, and narrowing regional and social disparities. And within this frame, along with the latest change in the government, the top priority is accorded to the good governance and strengthening the institutions, and along with that, more investment should be funneled to the infrastructure development, social protection, inclusion, and these will usher in the higher growth path in the economy. And equally important at the same time is to harness the opportunities that is presented by the digitalization, emerging technologies, artificial intelligence, and green growth in a sustainable and inclusive manner. Let me set light on two areas where we need to orient our discussions, our research. One of the important areas of our discussion should be the educational development and professional growth of our young population. Since 29% of our population consists of the age between 15 years and 30 years, so 1/3 of our population is in a very productive age group. We should think holistically to maximize their potential. Today's youths are tomorrow's entrepreneurs, they are the policymakers, they are the politicians and professionals. Thus, they are the change agent of our society. The entrepreneurial skill of the professionals and their aptitude at the early age will be vital in changing the lives of family, society, ultimately of the nation. Youths in developing nations like Nepal are disproportionately affected by financial constraints, forcing them into the deprivation of better education and quality health access. Such deprivation then leads to underemployment and unemployment. It creates a vicious cycle of poverty. Another area where we need to think, we need to work together is the role of technology in economic and social transformation. The global economy is getting complex and complicated with innovative technologies, products, and services. The integration of the domestic economy with the global market is on the rise. At the same time, the cross-border flows of both human capital and financial capital, they are increasing at an unprecedented manner. These developments are posing challenges to protect domestic economy from the resource gap and unwarranted competition. Thus, I would like to reiterate that innovations need to be targeted, and such targeted innovations transform lifestyle, change business models, and support policy development. Though digitalization has helped the global economy in speed, scope, and scale, there are threats of digital divide, particularly for underserved and unserved population. I believe that coping with these challenges is not possible only by the single stakeholder, either by the government or only by the private sector. A collaborative approach among the government as well as civil society is needed. I would like to assure you all that National Planning Commission is highly committed in coordinating, motivating, and facilitating national and international institutions working in the area of economic transformation and creative research. We are open to listening to all stakeholders and adjusting our policies accordingly. I consider this annual day discussion a highly relevant platform for exchanging ideas and experiences on the evolving landscape of education, learning, and human capital development in the age of digitalization, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. I believe today's discussions will generate meaningful insights on education reform and bridging the gap between human capital supply and labor market demand. I would request the organizers to share the proceedings and outcomes of the program with the National Planning Commission, as the discussions and recommendations will have meaningful dialogue, will have meaningful input in formally reviewing our policies and plans. At the end, I wish every success of the NDRI and extend my best wishes for productive and insightful deliberations. Thank you.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Honorable Chief Guest for your inspiring and visionary remarks, which have meaningfully set tone for the today's discussion and reflection. With this, we come to the close of the opening session. With the successful completion of the inaugural proceeding, May I now respectfully invite the chair of today's session, Dr. Jay Kumar Gurung, President of NDRI, to offer the closing reflection and formally conclude the opening session. Thank you.
Thank you, Masters of Ceremony. Chief guest, Honorable Dr. Gunakar Bhakta, Vice Chair, National Planning Commission, dignitary in the dais, former Minister Surendra Pandey, Vice Chancellor, Nepal University, our keynote speaker of today's event, Professor K.K. Agrawal, our Executive Director, Dr. Sika. I see here in the floor our former Honorable Minister, Ambassadors, His Excellencies, Her Excellencies, high-level government officials, representative from SAARC Secretariat, some leaders of political party I see here, and eminent scholars from mainly academic background, former ambassadors, and so many professors. I see a lot of, mostly from academic leaders I see here, all Guru of the Guru, and ladies and gentlemen, namaste and good morning. It's my great honor and privilege to stand in the presence of such equalities here today on the occasion of 23rd Sthapana Divas, Establishment Day of Nepal Development Research Institute, NDRI. As already mentioned, this is the 6th NDRI lecture series. The first was in 2021 by Honorable Khilaraj Regmi, former Chairman of the Council of Ministers and Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. It was followed by Dr. Bindi Loni in 2022, who delivered the opening remarks today and also sharing our one session. The third was by Dr. Somkiat, the chair of the president of Thailand Development Research Institute, and fourth by Pema, the director of EC-MOD. And the last years we had a lecture by Ms. Chandani Joshi, distinguished social scientist. And today we are having a Professor Dr. K.K. Agrawal, president of SAARC University with us, who will speak on the important theme, changing landscape of education, philosophy, and learning in the digital era, as a 6th lecture series of this episode. Well, over the years, the lecture series of the past has provided valuable guidance and direction to us to various areas of work, and contributing important perspective for the broader development of the nation. The published lecture continues to be widely shared and acknowledged. We remain deeply grateful to all the distinguished speakers in the past whose insight and contributions has reached this journey of this lecture series. Today, this gathering is not only for the academic exchange, but also to reflect the complex challenges we have of this time and collectively seek knowledge for the progress and betterment of the societies. One point I would like to highlight today, that is, during our meetings in pre-briefing sessions with their excellencies, Her Excellencies and His Excellencies ambassadors in Kathmandu, we are pleased to see their, the interest and enthusiasm of collaborations. We are very much impressed by their interest. So some of their excellencies are with us today, so thank you for your gracious presence. The ambassadors expressed strong interest in cooperations and noted that potential remains greatly underutilized. So we should be able to leverage all these collaborations. Hopefully, this gathering will further strengthen regional cooperations, particularly in education and other sectors of our mutual area of interest. So in fact, our nation stands at a critical juncture with a growing realization of need to reshape and redefine our future. Education is the central to this transformation, which is also highlighted earlier, which is why we have chosen education as a theme for this year of our lecture. I would like to encourage all the participants to actively engage in the technical session, which will be carried by and chaired by chair and moderated by distinguished experts following the deliberation of our professor, Dr. K.K. Agrawal, with the aim of soliciting the ideas and perspective from the other countries. We have invited expert panelists from various countries, including Bangladesh, Pakistan, Thailand, and others. We sincerely acknowledge their valuable contribution and gracious presence here today. We are confident that discussion will generate valuable insights and practical perspective that to address the contemporary challenges, issues we have today. So finally, I extend my sincere thanks to honorable chief guest and earlier speakers who provided opening remarks today. Thank you for your inspirations to NDRI, inspiring NDRI. The entire NDRI family is deeply honored by your presence today. And personally, I feel privileged. So with this, I hereby close the opening session of this grand event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We would kindly request all the respected guests to remain seated as we proceed with the presentation of token of appreciation. May I now respectfully invite Dr. Joy Kumar Gurung, President of NDRI, to offer token of appreciation to our esteemed guests. May I request our NDRI colleagues to kindly assist. Firstly, may I call our chief guest, Honorable Dr. Gunakar Bhatta. I would now like to call our special guest, Mr. Surendra Prasad Pandey. I would now like to call our special guest, Dr. Bintu Nath Lohani. Thank you, everyone. Now, we will proceed for tea, coffee break, networking and exhibition. And I kindly request everyone to reassemble in hall by 11 a.m. for the first technical session. Thank you.